You wonder why I never can get anything done on anybody's cars or anything? It's because I'm always having to work on something. This is my mother-in-law's swing. It was redone several years ago, and it's pretty rough. And she wanted it took care of, and I don't blame her. I mean, it's sitting in the front yard, everybody can see, and it's been redone several times and never done right. All the bolts just turn, none of the carriage stuff works. People's got nails stuffed anywhere, some of it's screwed. This here looks nice and safe, doesn't it? I don't know if you can see them or not. Yeah. How far those things, the nails are sticking out. And they won't move. The whole thing is, got one bowed real bad. This bottom one here is bowed, and although nothing's really super split, it is kind of ugly. So I'm not going to get anything done for me today again. I did, I went and picked this up. This thing's only a couple, 3 years old. I bet it's only been used 4 or 5 times. It's a snapper. It's one of them where you don't prime it. I may have talked about it before. You're supposed to be able to pull it and it starts right up. There's no way to prime it. But I've taken the air cleaner off. It won't start. Taking the air cleaner off, pour a little gas in it, and the thing will fire right up. It's not picking up. I've taken it apart here a year and a half ago, remember now, and found a whole bunch of white garbage. It's all plastic. If I'm not mistaken, the carburetor is even plastic. And everything was full of this white kind of gunky stuff. It was basically ethanol of some type of alcohol, I believe. Anyway, I cleaned it all out, took all the gas out, put in real gas, non-alcohol, to make any difference. It's whatever was in the line or was in the seats or whatever's come right back, because I ran it once, shut it off, came back 2 or 3 weeks later with it start. So I went over and picked it up too. It's my mother-in-law's. She's never going to use it. I bet this thing was expensive. It's rear drive, self drive, and it's a nice unit. It was anyway. First time it was used, I explained to my sister-in-law, who said that she was going to take care of the yard, not to run it on those hills. You've seen that I have a storm shelter in the back, maybe in one of the other videos if you watched it. And it's got a hill of dirt, and I'm very careful. That's why I've got that old lawn boy, which I can't seem to keep running either, to mow that. Otherwise, you got to weed eat, and it takes quite a while. I can get the rider up there some, but you can't do all of it. And I told them not to use this to do that, because it will run itself out of oil. I mean, these don't hold very much anyway. And anyway, I got a call the second, third time to use it. Well, this thing's smoking real bad. Well, they burned it up, and it was only you used like once or twice, and they burned it up. So it smokes a little bit. Not concerned about it. Like I said, it's not mine. I'm just going to get it running again, and I may mow, because like I said, I want to push mow. I'm not going to use a self-drive unless I just have to. I've just got to get myself into shape and get my bicycle out. Just do a couple little things like that, because I'm never going to go work out at a place. It's just not me. So anyway, working on that. This morning I changed the fuel filter on this, because that pump's progressively getting louder and louder. And I changed it, and the tank was kind of low, and I went around a corner. You could hear the pump. When your tank starts to get below like a third of a tank, you go around a corner, you hear the pump whine, like it's running itself out of fuel. And the thing was real quiet. I couldn't even hear the pump. As soon as I went around the corner and it lost suction there for a second, it's come right back. So it's picked up some garbage already. I probably need a new fuel tank. So that's something I'll have to do. But I went ahead and got some oil and filter and stuff like that. I'm going to change oil. I haven't done it for a couple of years. It doesn't have that many miles on it, but it needs done. So I got to do that today. I don't know where this is going to fall in. I may not even add this in. That's that 4.8 that I've been working on. Sorry about me moving around. It's kind of a mess in here. That's something else that needs done. I need clean. But anyway, yeah, I've got the oil pan. I put it on a few days ago. It's sealed up. I had to work the weekend days, so I really haven't been able to work on anything. I got 2 days off, and I've got to do 10 million things. So got to mow, got to weed eat, get new glasses, got to work on this bench, got to get a lawnmower going, got to go mow over at the shop. And I need to, I think I've talked about this. The heads will be next. So anyway, guys, busy. Spring, that's how it works. It's already hot. It's 80 degrees. Heat index, I bet you, is in the 90s. It's humid, very little breeze, if any. Just how it is. We didn't get a spring this year. Matter of fact, we really haven't had much rain. So hope this isn't of things to come, because it's miserable to work here when it's we're talking, I think, what is today, 7th of May, and it's already miserable. So that's not good. So anyway, I have lots of stuff to do. We'll talk to you guys later. Yesterday I started a video, and it really wasn't even going to be any type of a series or thing going on, but things change. This is what's left of that swing. And after I started working on it, I realized how bad a shape it really was in. And being as Mother's Day is this Sunday, I decided she's a good mother-in-law. I really don't have any complaints. She's really good to us, and you know, with me personally. So I decided we just do it right. So it's stripped, and I went over a little bit ago and got the rest of the swingy part of it, I guess you want to call it. If one of them old hoops, I don't know how old this thing is. It's hard to say. It's going to take quite a bit of work. I see some stuff that's not, well, I just pulled right out of there. I'm not even sure how it's supposed to look, to be honest with you. It may be, somebody might have changed something over the years. It's hard to say. So anyway, I'm going to strip this thing down, replace all the boards. As you can see, they didn't, they sit pretty much almost flat on the ground. So yeah, they just don't last very long. Anyway, that's what we're doing, and I'll show you kind of where I've got so far. This is those end tubes that were part of that, and I sanded them down completely, take them over to the shop, use my sander on them, 2 coats of ugly, maybe, well, 2 different colors of paint, and put about 4 coats of primer, and I'm going to put about 4 coats of green paint. It won't last forever, but it's, you know, better than what it was. And then inside, sorry, gotta walk in. Bought a bunch of 2x4s and did not get them treated for a specific reason. I wanted to be able to urethane them, so I cut every one of them to length. There's 7 of those. I got the armrests and the supports. I haven't started, I mean, I've got them sanded, you know, and stuff. So I cut them, sanded, and this is the bottom. I've got 1 coat. Boy, it soaked it right up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the 2nd coat. And anyway, when it's done, or maybe when I get to the next step, if I get that tore down, maybe starting to sand or prime or something, I might get you back on there. But like I said, I know woodwork isn't really what this channel is about, but I do a lot of it. I'm far from an expert. Most people would have never used 2x4s. Pine doesn't last very good out in the elements, but those were replaced 8 years ago. And besides one of them being warped, I could have made it work. If they'd been kept up on and painted, you know, every couple of years, it probably wouldn't have been a problem. But it's been left for quite a while. So we're going to go ahead and get it done up. It's going to look different, but better. She doesn't know what colors I'm going with. She knows about the green. She's the one who bought the green paint, but she doesn't know what we're doing with the boards and the surround. The cream color kind of matches her house, but not like it used to, because things have changed over the years. I think the shutters are now green, and that had brown baseboard, brown wood at one time, and then they painted it green, and the chains were painted, which I would have never done. When it's done, it'll look good. So anyway, next video, like I said, we'll have some of this together, and or at least something done different than what it does. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. All right, well, that's 3 coats. Takes several hours to do, and of course this is just the bottom and back side of it. Still got to turn it over and do some more, but as you can see, it's not looking too bad. You know, it's what it is, and I made sure that the stuff that I got was designed to go inside and out, but I'll still have to probably seal it every year, or maybe have to even do a slight scuff and stick another coat on it or 2 every year. I've only got 1 coat I just stuck on here. Boy, that pine just soaks it up, especially after you, yeah, you know, after you sand it. Well, let's come out here and see what it did. This was some of this stuff was so bad, I ended up having to torch it off. I bet I had to torch probably 20 bolts. And there's a bunch of that's part of the bottom and stuff like that, and then here's all the pieces finally took apart. So I'll take them over to the shop and start sanding on them over there. And I've kind of got a color scheme now in mind. I know she wanted the green, and I'm still going to do the hoops green, but I think I'm going to do something different that'll go good with that urethaned up wood. So anyway, there's a bunch of screws and bolts, and some of them I've already gotten rid of. Actually, a bunch of them I got rid of. I've already got my measurement, got new bolts already for them, so now I've got to get a bunch of measurements here. Some of these like hold these tubes together. I actually had a cap screw on top. I may just clean those up with a buffing wheel or something instead of you know, get new bolts. But I don't know, we'll see. Because I managed to save all four of the top nuts. Some of this stuff, like they had it looks like rubber. This was like for the chain. It was actually a separator so that chain hook could hang between the two. So I may have to, these are actually kind of hard. I may have to get washers, or I don't know, maybe try to find, those are probably reusable. They're just stretched a little bit. And about 8 million little screws, so none of them came out easy. I had to fight every one of them, and the problem is you couldn't get a screwdriver in because of all the lattice work and stuff. I guess one of them's still on the ground. So anyway, that's the progress so far, and next time you see it, I'll probably have some sanding done, maybe some priming. I may do it over at the shop because it's just so stinking windy out here, and I can't do it here in the garage. So I may, once I get this sanded, I may actually do the priming and stuff over there, maybe even the paint. I don't know, we'll see. It's just I hate hauling it in pieces like this in the back of the truck, because you know what happens, it ends up getting all scarred up. So I may get it all, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to at least get it sanded up, and then we'll go from there. If I have to move the cars out of the garage, you know, like Friday or something, and then prime it and paint them over here, then I can do that too. So, all right, well, till we get back to it. All right, well, forgive if it's dark in here. I'm over here at the shop. I spent the other day sanding all this tube down for that swing, and I'm probably just going to add all these kind of videos into one. But anyway, I sanded everything down that I could possibly get to, and now I'm over here ready to prime it. It's just so windy. I mean, I can't do it at home, so I just set up some temporary garbage so I can do this. They've already been wiped down with lacquer thinner, which I had some left over from a project a year or so back. So you know, that kind of stuff only lasts so long in a can sitting in a garage. So anyway, I'm going to start priming those. These are the base. The two longer ones are the shelves. They're actually like a back board or whatever you want to call it, so stuff won't slide off the back for the, you know, they go on top of the shelf on the one side, and then those are the actual brackets to hold the shelves. Like I said, these are the bases. I'm actually going to try this. I think I told you this. Base is going to be black. Lattice and these holders here for the shelves are going to be black, and then all the hoops are going to be hunter green. And I've already been urethaning this morning over at the garage, and I have to go get some more lumber and some chain and some bolts and stuff like that. So anyway, I thought I'd kind of give you an idea of what this looks like prior to me getting, you know, started on it. I didn't take it all the way down to steel because a lot of that stuff was either electrostatically put on there, because I don't know how old this is, or maybe it was powder coated in some way. But I took all of that old nasty garbage off. Now this stuff here, these are the ones that had to cut off the bolts and stuff. They were, you know, they were on there pretty good. And these are the base, so they've had a pretty rough life sitting in the ground, and you know, everything sits on top of them. And that brown paint they used, they would not let go. I ended up having to use an Astral paint stripper, same one I was using on the boys' car, to get that off to where I could get to this point where I could sand it. So it's, you know, not a big deal, but it's quite a challenge. This isn't a one-day project. This is a multiple day. Even if I would have stayed on it all day long, which actually took me 4 hours to sand this stuff down the way you see it. It was quite a day. So, you know, by the time I went and picked it up and then tore it all apart and brought it over here, set it up, sanded it, it took you know, it took 4.5 hours to do all of it. So I had a little touch up on the lattice where you can't get the sander in, but outside of that, I'm going to get started on it. So I decided to give you an idea. I may do, when this is painted, I'm going to prime it first. I'm going to start cleaning these up and find a place to put them and start getting some primer on stuff, because I got to go back and forth all day, urethaning over there, then coming back and painting, priming, and then, you know, just kind of all, it's going to be an all-day deal for this. And may just get the priming done today, and then tomorrow come and paint, and then I'll start urethaning and that other stuff. I really need this done by Sunday. Today's Friday, so it should be Mother's Day and all, like I said before. So anyway, guys, thought I'd give you an idea of what's going on with this swing so we can get this done. So talk to you later. Well, got some of the pieces painted. I was going to get them pictures of them when they were primed, but everybody knows what primer looks like, I imagine by now. Anyway, that's the, like I said, those are the pieces that hold the shelf. Those are the backsplash for the shelf. This is the base, and then those there are the tubes. You see what color green it is. Now I kind of know you saw that deal with the bench here the other day, but it's kind of gives you an idea there of the contrast and the colors. And then imagine a yellow pine with about 3 coats of clear urethane on it, along with all silver, you know, like screws and bolts, and of course, instead of that garbage chain, big chain and silver, you know, where you can actually stand to see it. So anyway, that's what it's going to look like. I probably won't do any more videos until it's actually together. There's just no sense in it. This is already going to be kind of a long deal, even though it's just little 4 or 5 minute segments at a time. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you an idea of what's going on. I'm running out of time, so anyway, I'm going to get out of here so I can get this done. Well, for what it's worth, it is done. Put together. It's been sitting out here in the sun for a few hours now. I'm just kind of making sure everything's baked in and, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't have the armrest on the swing part yet, but I have them. I wasn't for sure if I wanted them on there. I didn't say they look tacky, but it's not really what I wanted. But after she sat there and I kind of showed her what they look like, she wanted them, so I'll put them on tomorrow, and then we're going to haul it over the house. So anyway, this is it. It came out pretty much the way I expected it to. Like I said, I'm not a woodworker, but when I have a color scheme in mind, I mean, like I told you, that lattice is black, that base is black. Now it's maybe hard to tell because it's so bright out here. And then I did everything else that was kind of unscrewable. I did black, and then of course the hoops, and then the side of the swing itself were all green, and come out nice. So it just goes to show you. I mean, I already had the gallon of yeah, what am I talking about here? Of the urethane. I already had that from a project. It was brand new and I hadn't got into it. So I spent some money on hardware, like all the bolts, screws, chain. I did spend a little money there, but most of that stuff I bought in bulk at like $1.99 a pound or something like that, and because all that stuff costs about the same. And then paint. Now I went through several cans of paint. I don't know what it would cost to have this stuff actually sandblasted and powder coated. It would last longer, but you know, but the biggest thing was the time, especially in the sand, you know, get all the wood bought, then cut to length and sanded, and then urethane. Basically, urethaning takes a day per coat, and I tried to shove most of it into 1 or 2 days, and that's really not the way to do urethane. And so do I expect this to last 10 years? No. Matter of fact, it'd be lucky if it goes 4 or 5. What I told her was that she's got a 1-car garage now that's empty. That probably what we would do is to, I would just drag it in the garage during the winter time and then just bring it back out in the spring, and or I'd Thompson it or something. Maybe, you know, do a quick sand job and put another coat on it or something. You know, it all depends. It's easy enough to take care of. So anyway, just goes to show, though, a little bit of time, a little bit of effort. We took something that was really, really bad shape and made it nice. Looks great. Matter of fact, I'm kind of afraid to put it in the front yard. I'm afraid somebody's going to swing by and steal it, because that's what they do around here. So, but anyway, so there you go, guys. That's part whatever. I'm hoping to do this all in one video. I'm having trouble with my editing software again. For some reason, it won't let me take stuff out. It just keeps adding on to the... I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So anyway, this is what it looks like, and we'll talk to you guys on the next project.